Hello, dear students. I am Samir Velankar. I welcome all of you to this second video on knapsack problem, and we were solving this problem by using greedy method. In the previous video, we saw an example where number of objects n were 6 and capacity was 15, and weight and profit of 6 objects was given in the form of W and P array as shown here. This is weights and this is profits. Now let's see what will be the algorithm to fill the knapsack such that the profit earned is maximum and the total weight filled in the knapsack should not cross 15. So let's read the comments. Given an empty knapsack of capacity m, so you can fill only m kgs in the knapsack, given n objects such that weight w and profit p of all n objects is given as array w and p. So two arrays w and p store the weight and profit. Now coming to our aim, the aim is we want to fill the empty knapsack in such a way that the profit earned should be maximum, but the total weight filled in the knapsack should be less than or equal to m. So such a problem is called optimization problem, and typically greedy methods are used for solving optimization problems. The optimization problems deal with the problem of maximizing or minimizing something. Let's talk about this word later on, but let's see the algorithm for knapsack greedy. I have named the algorithm as knapsack greedy because later on we are going to see how to solve knapsack problem by using dynamic method. So we will write algorithm called knapsack dynamic and so on. Now you see the first step in the algorithm is sort all objects in decreasing order of pi by wi. So take the profit by weight of every object and just see which object is having highest profit by weight, keep that object first, the next highest profit by weight, keep that object second, and so on. So that's what we have done here. I have already sorted all the objects in the decreasing order of profit by weights. As you can see, the profit by weight for various objects is 5, 6, 2, 10, 11, and 9. So according to these profit by weights, fifth object is the best because it is having highest profit by weight. So it has been kept first and so on. Now this step, observe this step I have written in English. Sort all objects in decreasing order of profit by weight, isn't it? But actually you can know that this is going to be a function in our program, a sort function. Now it depends on which type of sort you will use while sorting the objects. Maybe you will use bubble sort to sort all the objects in the decreasing order of profit by weight, or maybe you will use quick sort. Now, it all depends on which type of sorting you use, the time complexity will get affected. For example, if you use bubble sort, then this step itself, sort all n objects, this step itself is going to take O n square, where n are the number of objects, because you recall that the analysis of bubble sort, that is the time taken by bubble sort or the number of operations done by bubble sort, are of the order of n square, where n are the number of objects. Even if you have not watched that video of bubble sort yet, time complexity, don't worry, but you can imagine that for n objects it will be n square for bubble sort. But if you use quick sort, and quick sort is asked to sort all these n objects in decreasing order of profit by weight, then quick sort is going to take time of the order n log of n to the base 2, where n are the number of objects. Now you all know that n log n is much better than n square, isn't it? So it all depends on programmer, which type of sorting technique is implemented before you try to fill the knapsack decides the time complexity. Anyway, for now, let's assume that we have used quicksort. So we have not written quicksort here, and rather we assume that reader knows how to sort the array. So we don't write all these details in the algorithm. It is dependent on the implementer, that which type of sorting technique the implementer will be using. We have used quicksort, assuming we have used quicksort. So it is, this step is going to take n log n to the base 2. Now next step, let's take a variable c which is initialized as m. So in our problem, c is going to be 15, writing it at the bottom here. And then one more variable has been used, profit. Check this, profit is 0. So this was the initial profit. And you recall from the earlier video, this profit came out to be 104, isn't it? Let's see. Now what we do is, we start a for loop in our algorithm. Now this looks very surprising for many students initially. We start a for loop. Observe, the for loop has been written in such a way that it seems that we are going to take all the objects. See the for loop. We have written for I is equal to 1 to n, and n are 6 here. Number of objects are 6. And this for loop assumes that, check that the for loop here written assumes that all the objects are going to be added. That's very, very optimistic in our case. One thing is sure, you see the data given, you see this data given, all objects cannot be added. Why? Because weight of first object is 1, 1 plus 3, second object is 4. So total weight is 4, 4 plus 7 is 11, 11 plus 6 is 17, gone. We have been given a knapsack of capacity 15, and just by 4 objects, just by going through 4 objects, we have crossed the capacity. So all the objects surely cannot be added. But in the algorithm, we are too optimistic and we say, let us go for adding all the objects. I goes from 1 to n, correct or not? Now in the for loop, we ask, can the ith object get added? Now ith object can get added only if the capacity remaining minus weight of that ith object is positive, or is it is 0. Now as you see, now the capacity remaining initially is 15. I'm sorry, the capacity remaining initially, yeah, is 15. C is 15. So 15 minus W1, first time we are going to check, and W1 is going to be 10. Sorry, W1 is 1. The weight of first object is 1. So this quantity 15 minus 1 is 14, which is greater than 0. This is true, isn't it? That means by adding the first object, the weight of the first object is such that knapsack will not break, isn't it? So hence we proceed adding that object, we print the weight and profit of that object, and also we reduce the capacity. So what is the data we are having is, we have added first object in the knapsack, and now the capacity remaining, that is C. C is made C minus Wi. As you see in this step, C is made C minus Wi. So C becomes 15 minus 1, which is 14, as we saw in the earlier video. And profit, which was 0, is now increased by the quantity P1, that is Pi. So profit, which was 0, will become 0 plus 11, that is 11. And then else is dropped, because if was true and we repeat the for loop, we take the second object, then third object, and so on till we can add the objects, isn't it? So what really happened, when this for was running, the second object was also added. The second object is having weight of 3, so the capacity remaining is 11, and the profit due to that was 30, so the total profit was, I think, 41, isn't it? Then third object was also added and the weight was 7, so capacity remaining is 4, and profit was 63 due to that, so we will get 104. And now we are trying to add fourth object, so that is I, isn't it? Now I is 4. Observe, when I is 4, what really happens in the for loop here, check this for loop. Now I is 4. When I is 4, capacity remaining, as you see, capacity remaining is capacity remaining is 4, isn't it? So only 4 kg can be added in the knapsack. We are checking is 4 minus weight of the fourth object, but weight of the fourth object is 6. This is not greater than or equal to 0. That means by filling this object, sixth object, you are going to break the knapsack. So if is false, and we will come to else. And look at that else. I stress on this point repeatedly. When you look at the else, we are doing a break here. That means the for loop is simply going to break and we are going to come out of the for loop. We have not checked if the fourth object cannot be added. Hello, check the next one. That is fifth. Hello, check the next one. We are not doing this at all, isn't it? Well, if we wanted to do this, why would we sort the objects in the first place? So that's greedy algorithm. If you are not able to add the ith object, simply break the for loop and print the maximum profit. Profit by 0 1 knapsack is profit, and the profit here is 104. Now what's this word 0 1 knapsack? This is so simple. When you say that the knapsack is 0 by 1, it means you are either taking an object or you are leaving an object, but you are not breaking an object into pieces. That is fraction, and you are not adding fraction of the object. So you have taken first, second, and third object, but fourth object was weighing 6 kg and capacity remaining was 4. So you have simply left these objects, you have not added them. So you are either taking an object which is 1, yes, I have taken the object, or you are leaving the object, that is 0, no, I have not taken an object. But you are not breaking any object into fraction. I hope you have understood what do you mean by 0 by 1 knapsack. So many times, they say find out the solution for 0 by 1 knapsack. That means you have to understand that all objects will go as an atomic unit. You cannot break an object, isn't it? Now what I mean by all this, let's see. Now other type of knapsack is fraction knapsack. Now what is the meaning of fraction knapsack? It's very easy, you see. Go back in the memory again. Fourth object was not added. Why? Fourth object was not added because weight of the fourth object was 6 kg. Observe the data here. Fourth object is having weight of 6 kg. Just check this. And capacity remaining is 4 kg. Just 4 kg is remaining, so you cannot add this object. But how about, okay, if 4 kg is the capacity remaining and 6 is the weight, how about breaking this 6 kg? 6 kg object is broken into 4 kg and 2 kg, and this 2 kg is ignored. Ignore this and add this 4 kg. Out of that 6 kg, add that 4 kg in the knapsack. This is called fraction knapsack. That means fraction of the object is added in the knapsack to fill the knapsack completely. I guess you are understanding. So we are not going to add fourth object completely, but fourth object is going to be added as a fraction. Only 4 kg, 4 kg out of 4 kg, 4 kg out of 6 kg is going to be added. So 0 is the knapsack capacity now pending because it was 4 kg and now we have added 4 kg. So 0 is the capacity pending. But the big question is what will be the profit? Surely the profit will be 104 plus because we already have 104 profit. Now what will be the total profit? 104 plus the profit due to 4 kg, isn't it? Look at this data. It is 104 plus profit due to 4 kg because instead of 6 kg you have added only 4 kg. So what is the profit? It is simple ratio, isn't it? If you add 6 kg of the fourth object, you get the profit of 36. If you add all 6 kg complete object, you get the profit of 36. It's given in the data. What will be the profit you will get if you add only 4 kg instead of 6 kg? If you add only 4 kg, you will get 36 upon 6 multiplied by 4, isn't it? That's going to be nothing but 24, isn't it? Or instead of looking at this like this, ratio and all that, you can easily see that this is nothing but whatever is the capacity remaining, 4 kg only you can add in the knapsack. So that 4 kg is multiplied by profit by weight of the fourth object. This was the profit of the fourth object, and this is weight of the fourth object. If you simply multiply capacity remaining, you can add only 4 kg, isn't it? You just multiply it with P4 by W4. That's nothing but 36 by 6. That's 24. So 104 plus 24, which is going to be 100 and 128, is the maximum profit that you will get. Isn't it so? This is by fraction method. But it's not practically possible. Why will you break an object? Breaking an object is not practically possible, but theoretically we can say that fraction knapsack gives that profit. So are you able to understand this formula which I am encircling now? Now the profit will become profit plus capacity remaining, which was 4 kg. Only 4 kg object can be added, multiplied by, this was P4 by W4 because I was 4 when the loop stopped. So that was 36 by 6 and we got this as 24, and that was added to the profit 104. So then we are printing profit by fraction knapsack is the maximum profit. By the way, I am erasing the slate now. That's the end of the algorithm. What is the analysis of this algorithm? The analysis of the algorithm, if you see time complexity, is the sort step is going to take n log n, assuming that you have used quick sort or heap sort. It is going to take n log n, and this step you observe the for loop. The for loop is going to take order of n, because what it is doing is that this for loop is repeating n times and it is having an if, isn't it? If else it is having. So you can count this entire unit as one unit, and this one unit of the work or one work has been repeated n times, so it is on. And after that there are simply prints which we don't count, printfs, simply prints are there. So the total time taken is order of n log of n to the base 2 plus order of n. Back to back they are, isn't it? Now you know that n log n to the base 2 is greater than on. So according to our theorem or our methodology, we will say time taken is order of n log n to the base 2, provided you use an efficient sorting technique like quick sort. Now suppose you used bubble sort instead of quick sort, then the sorting itself will take n square, isn't it? Because bubble sort works in the order of n square. In that case, the next for loop is again going to take on as usual. So what will be the total time taken of, or the order for this particular algorithm is going to be O of n square. This is due to sort step and this is due to filling the for loop, that is on. Then in that case you can't say that that greedy method for knapsack problem takes on log n. It takes on square because now on square is greater than on. All right, that means it all depends on the sort step, the efficiency of knapsack greedy. Thank you very much.